Hi everyone, welcome to a new video. So this is going to be a little bit different. This is not Dark Souls. For those of you who know me from my Dark Souls content, this is a two-player asymmetrical card game called Netrunner that has taken over my life for the last year. And I've seen an opportunity just to make a video for a friend to help him. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to put it on my channel and make it public in case it's useful for anyone else. If you are only here for Dark Souls content, I apologize. I will continue to make Dark Souls content. I do intend to do more videos in the future when I'm a little less busy, which should be starting quite soon. And there will be more up there. And I apologize if you don't want Netrunner videos in your stream. This is also not going to be a beginner's Netrunner video. I know most of my Dark Souls videos are beginner's tutorials. This is not a beginner's tutorial for Netrunner. So if you're interested in the game, I strongly recommend checking out the Fantasy Flight Games official tutorial, or go have a look at Metropole Grid because his content's amazing for beginners. This is not going to be for you. Anyway, now all of that's out of the way. So this video is a quick demo on how to play this deck. So this deck is MTI Moonies, it's called MTI Moons. I call it MTI Moonies. And it's a deck published by Yanda. And I played this at a GNK last Saturday, and I managed to get second place with it, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to be playing this at German Nationals, and I have a friend who wanted some assistance with the deck, and he's been playing it and having problems. So I thought I'd just record this quick tutorial and show him how to play it. Well, show how I play it. I think the other big caveat is I have so much to learn about Netrunner. It's unbelievable. The way I'm playing this deck is not the best. As you can see, I've only played it a total 2 games glitched out here. So I've only played it a total of 20 games plus 4 games on the weekend. There's a lot I've still got to learn, but I thought this might be useful if by some chance anyone who knows anything about Netrunner watches this video and you have any suggestions on how I can improve my play, please put it in the comments. I always want to improve. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about the deck very, very quickly. So this is an asset spam deck. Most of our agendas are going to be 3/2s, which we probably want to try to score out with political dealings so that we can triple advance on a single turn. But we don't have to. We also have Jeeves, and Jeeves just gives us value constantly. So we also really want to score viral weaponization whenever we have it, because doing 1 net damage for every card in the grip is incredible. So I'm kind of generally quite happy to lose medical breakthroughs because they make the next score easier. Philotic is quite situational. If I do lose it, it's not the end of the world. I never want to lose a viral because the benefit of scoring this is so great that I will do whatever I can to make it fire. Our economy in the deck is mostly from Estelle Moon, Mental Health Clinic, and we've got Turtlebacks. So when you deal your hand, you're going to be mulliganing for a Moon or a Turtlebacks because we need to get that money up and running quickly. We want to get Mental Health Clinics down, but we want to get them down after we've got our Moons or Turtlebacks in. The other thing to be aware of is that if we've got 2 Cortex locks in the deck, with MTI, we can install when they run. So if we get a Cortex lock in our opening hand and they play 2 cards run, that's an instant win if they don't have anything down that can break Cortex lock, assuming they've still got 4 unused MU and they don't have an I've had worse in hand. I'm going to talk through my decisions as I play. I think overall that's kind of just an overview of the deck. Hopefully the way I play it is interesting and useful, and we'll see how it goes. So let's see if we got... Okay, let's set this up. So the general board state that you're trying to establish with this is you want to have 2 Turtlebacks down and rezzed. You want to have 2 Mental Health Clinics firing off each turn. 1's okay, but 2 is ideal. You want a Jeeves on the table and res so that you can get value from all of your installs. And then after that, a bonus would be having political dealings down so that if you draw an agenda, you can go with it. But it's not the end of the world if you don't have it. You can just do it with Jeeves instead. Okay, so Ayla gets to install 4 of them as NVRAM, and then she can add one whenever she wants. This is going to get pretty small because we're going to have to zoom out quite a lot, so we'll see how that goes. So let's have a look at our opening hand. So we've got Turtlebacks, we've got Moons, and we've got Mental Health Clinic. I mean, it's perfect, so we're just going to keep that. We don't have any ice, so I'm probably not going to install Rashida because I want to protect her. But we'll see what our mandatory is. Cool, I've got a vanilla. Okay, so in that case, we are going to do Moons, res, install Turtleback to the new remote and res, and then we will install Rashida in new remote and end our turn. Okay, Shogun to start. So he may run the Moons here. If he does, we can trash it and get the draw. That's fine. And he starts with a Hyperdriver. We might get diped. Do you play dipe out of Ayla? I don't know. So, start of our turn, we res and use Rashida. Now we need to be careful here because we want to pop Moon soon and we don't want to overdraw. That's great because that draws us into another Turtlebacks. So, we go into a Turtlebacks. We really want to be careful against Shaper for indexing. So I'm going to install a Brain Trust into a new remote, and I'm going to install Mental Health Clinic into a new remote, and on my turn. So we've got one MTI trigger, right? So I want to use my MTI trigger to protect the Brain Trust. So if they run R&D, oh, here we go. Hopefully he's just using it to set up. So ideally, I don't want to use my MTI trigger to protect R&D with the vanilla, because I want to save it in case they run the Brain Trust. Ika's not going to give a huge amount of value running R&D, so we trash. Two clicks left. It's good that we've drawn in stuff like Enigma and Cortex Lock. So what we want to do is protect the Brain Trust. Okay, so he can see that, that's no problem. And now he's got one click remaining, so if he runs the Brain Trust or runs R&D, we use MTI to install us. So having the 2 Turtlebacks down and resed early is great. Great, so now we've got a MTI trigger. We can choose Komainu. What's he got? So he's only got a Code Gate Breaker. We've got 18 creds. So I am going to install Komainu, then we res Komainu, and he'll lose every card in hand. Oh, so Inca is also a breaker. I did not realize that. Okay, I got to pay more attention. Wow, okay. That's not ideal. So I didn't realize that Eco was a Sentry Breaker. So start turn ability, we res Mental Health Clinic, that's going to increase their hand size. Next, I want to get something on R&D really. We also want to be careful about them trashing our assets. And we've now got 2 agendas in HQ, so I think we're going to start by installing this on a new remote because we're getting 2 credits from Turtlebacks. Next, I really want to keep them out of R&D, so let's put this on R&D. And then I think I am just going to protect the Brain Trust. Then we'll try and score that out next turn. Cortex Lock doesn't do a lot here. Now this way we can, cool. So we can use our MTI trigger to protect HQ. Because we're getting flooded. Okay, out of the ashes, interesting. So we definitely want to get Jeeves down. And we need to get some of these agendas out of our hand, I think. So I think we put Jeeves in a new remote. We really want to score viral weaponization. So I'm gonna put this in a new remote, and then I'm gonna put this in a new remote, and I'm gonna discard Cortex Lock. So I think we should use tech startup to get political dealings. We are getting very flooded thanks to Fisk. But we can use Jeeves to get a triple install going next turn. DBS is going to be really good. He's moneying up. Okay, so start of turn triggers. We definitely want Jeeves rezzed, and I definitely want tech startup rezzed. We'll use tech startup to install political dealings. New remote, gain 2 creds. Res political dealings. And that's all our start turn triggers. So we start. So I am definitely putting DBS into a new remote. I am definitely putting Jeeves down to get it out of my hand because I've only got 2 in the deck. And then I am going to install Rashida into a new remote and trash. And because we got 3 installs, Jeeves gives us an extra click. So I think I would like some ice on HQ. So I think he's played 2 Fisks. Yeah. So it's not going to be ideal if he plays another one, and he doesn't, so that's great. So we definitely want to res DBS at the start of our turn. Then we'll triple advance out the exposed Brain Trust, and then we get a click to install another card. Perfect. We'll just leave the Rashida on the table. It's going to take him a little while to get set up. So start turn triggers, we res the DBS. We can't res the Juice because it's unique. We don't need to worry about the Rashida. Start turn. Reveal and install viral weaponization. So yes, we are going to do this because we get the Jeeves click. Okay, we add that to the bottom of R&D. So then we advance, 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 and score. So now I imagine he's going to want to try and trash this quite soon. But the viral weaponization trigger has slowed him down. He may not have realized what this card does, especially in conjunction with Jeeves. Okay, so start turn. I think we want the political dealings more than the Enigma in case this one gets trashed. So we add the Enigma to the bottom. Then I am going to advance out the exposed Brain Trust. Then none of these are agendas. I don't want to install an agenda on the table because political dealings is firing. So I'm going to put the new political dealings down and I'm going to end turn. So this way, if this gets trashed, we can still res this at the start of our turn. This is pretty good because we've got another Jeeves as backup. We've got Rashida in case we draw. It's unfortunate that we're flooded. I'm a bit worried about HQ, but we still have the MTI Fire and a DNA tracker in hand. And this vanilla has stopped him running here. Okay. So out of the ashes, make a run when your turn begins. If out of the ashes, you remove from the game, limit 6 per deck. So I will res this. And then if he does get a barrier breaker, we can install the DNA tracker. Obviously, one of the key things to be aware of is that if they run an unprotected remote, then they can't jack out. So if we had a naked agenda on the table, we might want to, if we had a naked card that we didn't want to lose or we just wanted to punish, we could use the DNA tracker there. But with 3 agendas in HQ, I really want to install this in front of this ice and then face them, give them a really difficult choice of deciding if they want to progress. Then when they do, hit them quite hard. The last thing I want them to do is realize that they can get into HQ quite easily, which means that installing something like a swordsman face down as a bluff isn't going to work great. So he's got 1 fan sight, can use that to fire sure gambles and money up. That clot is a problem. And he's got 1 cool, it's not a sacrificial construct, it's a clone chip. So check start a turn triggers. None of these need to be fired, so we start turn, choose 1 card to add to the bottom of R&D. Now, we definitely want our team sponsorship on the table. So we're going to go big. So we're going to go new remote, and new remote. And then I need to think about what I want to do here. So now hopefully this means we can get away without purging clot. And again a cred, and then res hostile infrastructure in case he decides to go trash. Now obviously this is a bit risky here. Let's zoom out a little bit because we've got 2 agendas over here. Now it's a question of what do I want to, well, I definitely want to score the viral weaponization first because it's going to massively slow him down. I think this risk is worth it, putting these naked, because he hasn't been checking the remotes, right? He did a little check and that was it. I've still got the DNA tracker in hand to install, and he runs the team sponsorship. Okay, so now we definitely res the team sponsorship. We don't need to res anything else. We start our turn. We don't need money, so we add the mental health clinic to the bottom. And then we are going to advance, 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 and score. Then we want to use team sponsorship to install. We don't need anything for tech startup. We don't need Rashida. I think we have enough points on the table to win, so I don't want to install Brain Trust. I do want something from my bin though. So I'm just going to put Rashida down just in case. It also keeps him guessing on the remotes. So now we've got like 5 face downs across here and only 1 of them's an agenda. I'm sorry that it's so zoomed out. So he's got, just for reference, Shadow Net, Clone Chip. He's got the Cyber Cipher still sitting on R&D and a Clot. I think we've got pretty good tempo as well. I'm not quite sure what turn this is. Turn 8, so we're on turn 9. Which is good, so we could win by turn 10. When you play this in real life, you've got a few key triggers that you need to remember. So you've got your start of turn draw triggers, like Daily Business Show or Rashida, that you need to remember before you take your mandatory. You've got your start of turn income, so your mental health clinics you need to remember. And then you also have your team sponsorships when you score an agenda. So those are the things you kind of need to remember. Okay, so let's res the Enigma. That's fine because we can score this out next turn. as long as he doesn't run server 18. If he does run server 18, I think we install this and win. Okay, so we do MTI install res. Oh, and he left. So yeah, so you can see that we managed to put ourselves, because our opponent wasn't able to manage our board state, right? So we had a situation where it was going to be difficult for him to counter. Then we, oh, so sorry, the DNA tracker was difficult for him to counter. So we had like the kill on the table or a massive, massive tempo burst. We had 2 agendas on the table that we could score out, circumventing Clot. He had to tech to get through this as well. All of this is like turn 10, I think. Let's have a quick look. Starting turn 9, right? So we were really lucky because we had the Moons, the mental health clinic, and the turtlebacks at the start. We got, or no, I think Moons and turtlebacks and Rashida, right? But it's because our opponent didn't keep our board state in check. And so once we got up and running, we're almost unstoppable, because in order for him to trash Jeeves, he's got to spend 5, and then we just res another Jeeves. In order for him to trash political dealings, he's got to spend 3, and then we just res another political dealings. And the advantage of having this, these duplicate assets on the table is that we can then res them at the start of our turn and then use them. Plus, we're always getting money from the turtlebacks for the installs. Yeah, so I think that was a pretty good demo. I hope that's useful. If there's any questions, please leave them in the comments, and thanks very much for watching.